Be Almighty, without your grace, your love, your blessings, your mercy, your forgiveness, nothing can move in this world. We seek all of them from you, and we beseech in you to bless us with the capacity and the right intellect to understand every aspect of the knowledge imparted to us. Our humble salutations and gratitude to the entire Guru Parampara. Om Tat Sat. We are on the 1st of June 2020, a Divine Discourse 49, Sharvari Nam Samvatsar, Uttarayan, Grishmarut, Jyesht Mas, Shukla Paksh, Dashmi. So tomorrow is Ekadashi. And in another 5 days' time, you'll see the full moon day. And we are on a Monday. Now the first prayer we chanted was Asatoma Sadgamaya, Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya, Mrityorma Amrutam Gamaya. So the meaning is, lead us from the wrong towards the truth. Lead us from darkness to light. Lead us from bondage to freedom. Freedom can also be told as liberation, moksha, mukti. Now the whole perspective of the Vedantic study is to understand the inner and finer aspects of how Jiva Jagat Ishvara has come into play. Jiva is what we are. Ishvara is the creator. And Jagat is the world, the creation around us. How this has come into play. And what is that which is moving everything around? We as a Jiva, we are potentially divine, we are complete, and we are the Paramatma itself. But then what has happened to us? That ignorance which has enveloped us is making us feel incomplete, unsatisfied, and yearning for something which can make us complete. Now for that something, or with that yearning, what the Jiva does? The Jiva steps into the world to satisfy itself with all the objects, persons, and situations around. Now in this conquest of gaining pleasure and satisfaction, the actions take place, which in other words is the karma. So the whole wheel of karma starts here. In the process, we do good actions, we do bad actions. So the good actions are meritorious, they give us punya, bad give us papa. There is an account of it. And then the cycle of birth and death starts as known as samsara. So what we got to know essentially, our true identity, our true nature is purnatva, meaning we are complete. Then how did we get into this mess? We are got to understand it is because of ignorance. Now then, what one has to do to get out of this? We know that we are now caught in this trap. What do we do to get out of this is the question in front of us, the endeavor in front of us, the target and the goal which we have to achieve in front of us. So to do this, now let's go back again and try to understand how the whole structure has been created. See, I was thinking as to how I move forward. I just take up the next shlokas and start moving forward. Then I felt sometimes to gain momentum and to gain better speed or better understanding, one needs to take a few steps back. So in that contemplation yesterday, I said, let me go back to the basics again and have a clearer understanding, because I have mentioned that doesn't mean to say that once you have heard, unless you all have repeatedly heard the recordings, it's a different matter. But if you have not heard, then it becomes difficult to understand at one go. And I also know that I have told in bits and pieces at different points of time, at different situations. So probably since it is in fractions, you might not have got a complete picture. They're like the pieces of the jigsaw. So today I felt, let me put all the pieces of the jigsaw together and give you a complete picture of this entire Jiva, Jagat, Ishvara conglomerate. And with that knowledge, then we start understanding the Gita. Because now the Gita has just started. Karma Yoga is where we are in the midst of Karma Yoga. And the Lord is going to give us one gem after the other. Unless and until you are a designer by yourself, what will you do? Just putting all the gems in one bag and keeping it is not going to make any sense. You need to design a fine jewelry and see how you can implement all these precious stones, these gems, these diamonds, how you can present them, make them part of your life and shine. Now, let's move forward. So we start with primarily the three bodies what we have, which we all know are Sthula, Sukshma and Karan Sharir. We talk about that. Then we talk about the three states in which we operate on a daily basis. That is the waking state, the dream state, and the deep sleep state. And then we talk about the Chaporas, where we are daily doing our meditation on. Let's understand them. And we also talk about what is Atma and what is Anatma. Atma is that pure self, the supreme pure self, the Paramatma. Anatma are all that which are temporary and they are frills. We have to understand that the frills don't become part of the permanent. They only are for point of time. They exist, and at a point of time, they don't exist. And we, by ignorance, we have got attached to the mithya, what we call, which is there only for period of time. And in that, we have been playing the part of karma, which we just now discussed, and get to this endless wheel of birth and death. So now, once a clearer understanding, then we know exactly what is that which has to be removed for me to be completely illumined. What is that unnecessary waste in me? What is that extra baggage I'm carrying, which is not my true self? Let's move forward on this. Okay. Now, let's start with the Atma and Anatma. What is an Anatma? Atma, we know, is the pure self, the Paramatma. Then what is that which is not self? So here, the not self is, the first is the gross body, the stool sharir. Second is the subtle body, which is the sukshma sharir. And the third is the causal body, which is karan sharir. And now, when you say a stool sharir, we'll go first with the stula sharir. The direct meaning of stula sharir is gross body, which is made up of flesh, blood vessels, fat, marrow, bones, all packed in a nice skin, and it has got hands and legs and head. This is the overall body. And what is the meaning of stula? Means gross, which is only understood by the perseverance of the senses. So without the senses in this body has got no value. Imagine like your skin does not give you a feel of touch. If there is heat, cold, a gentle touch, whatever it is, if it does not give you, understand that state. If your nose is not able to smell, if your eyes are not able to see, so this sthula means it is only comes of use, which is when it is able to perceive through the senses. And this sthula sharir is made up of the 5 elements: space, air, fire, water, and earth. And the meaning of sthula is senses. Sharir is which disintegrates. Disintegrates in the sense, when the body dies, then the entire body, it disintegrates back into the 5 elements. That is the reason it is called as, the meaning of disintegration in Sanskrit is sharira. We say sharir in Hindi. Sharira. Stula, which is perceived by the senses. So this is the overall meaning of a stula sharir. Now, furthermore, there are 4 important aspects of this stula sharir. One is it is made up of 5 great elements, that is the Pancha Mahabhutas. Second, it is the result of the past good actions. Whatever good actions you have done in your past lives, it is nothing but a personification of your good deeds of your past lives. 3, it is like a counter of experiences. Anything which happens with you today, it happens as an experience, isn't it? You have gone somewhere, you went for a movie and you came back, it is an experience. You went to dine out and you came back, it is an experience. You went and heard a good spiritual lecture, satsang, it is an experience. And how did that happen? It is because the body took you there, and then the sensory perceptions, they gave you the entire experience. So it is a counter for experiences. And fourth one is, it is subject to 6 modifications, meaning there are 6 changes in the body. So now let's understand one by one. So the 5 gross elements, space, air, fire, water, earth, they are known as Pancha Mahabhutas. So it is made up of these 5 elements. And as I told you, on the death of the body, all these 5 elements with which it is made up of goes back again into the 5 elements. So that's how the nature recycles. Nothing goes wasted, everything goes back again, and it's again used for something else. That's the reason great physicists, they say, one doesn't know that a star which you see in the sky, maybe that star dust is in your body today, because even stars are made up of 5 elements, and somewhere in this cosmic creation, with the dissolution and evolution and all that, so that could have been a part of your body also. So anatomically we are all connected. So that is the first part. Now second, what is the meaning of the results of the good actions of the past? So every jiva gets a body depending purely on how it has performed in their past lives. Everybody is not beautiful, everybody is not handsome, everybody does not have the intellectual qualities of the same manner, everybody does not have talent of the same kind. They all are at different levels. Apart from being born in a rich family, a mediocre family, a poor family, a supportive family, a non-supportive family, all these are variations. So all these variations, they come out of the good deeds which you have done in the past. And another important aspect is why we call the human birth is out of the good actions of the past, because we can differentiate between the dharma and adharma, meaning right and the wrong, or noble and ignoble. And then we have a very important faculty in us which is about discrimination. Discrimination means not that loose word where you treat somebody higher and you treat somebody lower, not that way. We are able to differentiate between what is permanent and what is impermanent. Anitya, meaning ephemeral. So all these qualities, they make you, as we discussed about the 9 blessings, they have given you the right faculties and a platform for the highest accomplishment, which is known as self-realization. Now the third aspect, it is a counter of experiences. Now remember, we are talking only about our sthula sharira, that is the gross body. We have not gone further ahead. We still have to cover sukshma sharir and the karan sharir also. Now in the third aspect, the counter of experiences, meaning this sthula sharir is also known as bhoga ayatanam. Ayatanam is bhoga. Bhoga is experience. Ayatana means a counter. It is a place where all experiences happen in life. And this body, as per the Vedantic text, it is made up of 9 gates. Navadvara Pure, they say. It's a city with 9 gates. What are those 9 gates? We have 2 eyes, openings, 2 ears, 2 nostrils, 1 mouth, and then 1 anus and a reproductive organ. Now all these 9 gates, they help each one of us to experience joy and sorrow and transaction with the outside world. Imagine like a shop. The shop shutter opens, the counter is set, and the transaction starts. Till then, there is no transaction. Now, if till the shutter was closed, was there any transaction? No. The moment the shutter opens and somebody comes on the counter and the world outside, people start coming in, they ask so many things, you then interact with them and you give them. So this body is just like that counter, where it makes you interact with the world and experience joy, sorrow, all experiences. And the fourth one, which I was talking about, is it is subject to 6 modifications. The first one is the moment life is conceived in the womb, where the sperm and the ovary, they meet together, the first cell is formed. That's the beginning of life in the woman's womb. So that's when the life has come. That is known as asti. Second one is known as jayate, where the baby is born after a period of 9 months, 9 days. Then vardate, meaning it starts growing. Slowly it starts growing, which is nourished by food, water, and so many other good things to eat. The baby is fed and it starts growing. And then viparinamate. Also along with its growth, you can see changes. Oh my God, as a child, as a small baby, what was it? The first month baby and the first year baby. And the third year baby, you can't make out. Even in the first month and third month and sixth month, there is a big difference. So there is a change also along with the growth. New cells are being born, old cells are getting discarded, and there is a texture, a shape, growth of so many things on the body. All this amounts to viparinamate, it changes. Then at one point, as it keeps growing, at one point, apakshiyate, there it starts decaying. You have seen, as you reach a particular age and then thereafter, elderly people, they start shrinking. Literally they start. Their skin also shrinks, that is, the body shrinks from the level of the skin. Then slowly even the body also starts shrinking. Each and every organ starts shrinking. So they call it as apakshiyate, it decays. It weakens the strength, vitality, everything. And then finally, vinashyati. Vinashyati means it dies. Now, this body, I will talk about the attachment, how we get the feeling of I, that everywhere that is disturbing us, this ego and I, me, myself, where did this I come from? So we'll discuss that at a later point of time. So now with this, after this I'll take up the Sukshma, and then we'll go to Karan Sharir, and then we'll briefly touch base on the 3 states, and then come back to the ego aspect. Okay. Now, the Sukshma Sharir. Is the speed all right? I just need your feedback. Or I can go a little faster. Okay, thank you. Because if I'm too fast and you're not able to grasp, then it becomes difficult. Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. So, Sukshma Sharir is this subtle body. Sukshma means subtle in Sanskrit. And Sharir is the body, of course. So now here, what happens in a Sukshma Sharir? Let's understand that. There are again 4 major various aspects. One is it is made of the 5 subtle elements, not the 5 gross elements as a body is made. Here they are made up of 5 subtle elements, and here it is constituted of 17 limbs. In some texts it is written 17 and some it is 19 also, where the 16th and 17th are Manaha and Buddhi, which is further expanded to Mana, Buddhi, Chitta, Ahankara. So in some Chitta, Ahankara is included in Manaha and Buddhi. So that's the reason you see 17, 19, so don't get confused about that. The third one is, it is an instrument of experience. This particular Sthula Sharir, Sukshma Sharir, it is an instrument of experience. There it was Ayatanam, meaning it was a body there, a house of experience. Here it is an instrument of experience. And fourth one is, again, it is born of the good actions of the past. So first, made of 5 elements, as you know, space, air, water, earth, in their subtle form, meaning before the grossification, Panchikarana they call it, before the grossification in a subtle form, which means it cannot be perceived. So in that state, as you can touch a body and you can understand, isn't it? But can you touch a mind and feel the mind or see the mind? You cannot. So they are the 5 subtle elements which are known as tanmatras before the panchikarana. Panchikarana is grossification. So before that, like as if I have to give an example, vapor is like a tanmatra. Grossification has not happened. But if that same vapor is condensed to water and further condensed to ice, so water and ice are 2 more levels of grossification. The most solid level is the ice, and a much lesser solidification is the water. But vapor is subtle. You cannot see it that way. So all these 5 elements, they make the combine together and make the Sukshma Sharir. And what are the 17 limbs? 5 Jnanendriyas. I'll come to all the details. Then you have the 5 Karmendriyas, 5 Pranas, Manaha, that is 16th, 17th is Buddhi. So these 5 Jnanendriyas, first, organs of knowledge they call, are because they give you knowledge. What kind of knowledge? Like they are what? The ear, the skin, the eye, the tongue, and the nose. And what are their objects of knowledge? Ear can listen to sound, skin can experience touch, eye can see a form, tongue can taste, and nose can smell. In Sanskrit they are known as Shrotram, Tvak, Chakshu, Rasana, Grahana. These are the Sanskrit names for this: ear, skin, eye, tongue, nose. And as you know, they get the knowledge to your entire body. Imagine all your senses are not working. Then there is no world of experience at all for the body, isn't it? You cannot hear, you cannot see, you cannot smell, you cannot touch, you cannot taste. Just think for a moment, what kind of a life would that be? It would be like there's no experience. So these 5 sensory organs, which are made particularly strong, all the 5 are strong in a human. That is the biggest challenge we have. So that's the reason we are always outward. So these are 5. Then comes the 5 karmendriyas. The 5 organs of action are called as karmendriyas. Initially they are known as organs of knowledge. Here they are known as organs of action. What are the actions they do now? Action of speech. Talking comes under karmendriya. Then hand. You have hands, isn't it? For action. Leg. Then you have the anus and the genitals. These are the 5 organs of action. Now the organ of speech, it helps us in speaking. Hand, to grasp, to lift, to give, to take. Leg, for locomotion, to move around. Anus, to eliminate waste. And genitals, to procreate. See the wonderful way how God has created the whole thing. Okay. Now we come to the next 5. Okay, a little more about to tell you about these. These Jnanendriyas and Karmendriyas, don't take them by their external appearances. Meaning what? Like for example, if I say I, okay, I meaning what you see externally, that does not come under the organs of knowledge. Yes, there I said eye, but remember it is sight. If the eye is damaged, but the power of sight is within, that is the sensory aspect of sight, which is behind the golaka, meaning the eyeball and the eye, what you see in the front. So if you get a right eye and you replace it, then again you will get your eyesight back. So these are all the elements which are behind the organ, what you can physically see in front of anybody. Like you see a nose. It is not that the nose factor. There is a sensory perception behind the nose which activates the feel of the entire smell. And the same way the tongue and the skin and things like that. So that's the reason when anything goes faulty, if you replace that part, like say if a skin is burnt, now then you do a skin transplant, then again that skin also will slowly start getting sensory perception. So that perceptory aspect which is behind the outer organ which is seen, this is for your extra understanding. Okay. Now we come to the pranas, which are the 5 pranas. So we covered 5 Jnanendriya, organs of knowledge, 5 Karmendriya, which are organs of action, and now we come to the 5 pranas, which are basically they control the physiological functions in our body. We only know that prana means we take in air and we breathe out air. We breathe in air, we breathe out air. That's all we know. But see, the way it has been designed, our body, prana is, it controls respiration, inhalation and exhalation, which basically takes in oxygen and throws out the carbon dioxide. Now where did all these waste carbon dioxide and all come? When this oxygen was further converted by the blood, then the waste gases have been produced. So this is that mechanism which is constantly happening within you. So it is about the inhalation, exhalation. Apana is primarily, it completely collects all the waste. It is like the BMC within us, the municipal corporations, where from each and every aspect of the body, it collects the waste, completely accumulates it, and throws it out from the right designated centers. Vyana is that which does the circulation of the blood. And by that circulation also, nourishment of the body cells and organs happen. Then Udana does the reverse functions, voluntary and involuntary. Like say you can talk of burping, sneezing, vomiting, like shedding tears. most importantly, giving you thoughts from time to time. Now you are listening to something and you don't want any external thoughts, but suddenly a thought springs up in your mind. Now where does that thought come from? That thought comes from the Karan Sharif. Now, which is now the next Sharir after this is Karan Sharif. What is that made of? It is a storehouse of all your tendencies. And that gives you thoughts. Time to time it gives you thoughts. Whatever you are interested in, it will start showing that way. Like as when you're operating on the net, it asks you, no, should I give you notifications? Allow, disallow. So if you say yes, it gives notification. Here, God has not given you that option. It will give you notifications. If you are interested in something, you have done it at a particular level or a quantum of time, it is automatically configured. And it will start giving you all those related area of interest will be shown to you. How? Maybe your eyes will catch that, or your ears, somebody will come and tell you about that, or you will smell something about that. So likewise, the body is figured that way. And the last one is the samana. Okay, one more aspect the Udana Shakti does is, at the end of the karmic cycle, when your complete prarabdha karma is over with this body, then when the final call comes, so that jiva consciousness which is within you has to be ejected out of you. So this ejection of prana, the final ejection of prana from the body, this Udana Shakti does that. And the last one is samana, where it takes care of digestion and assimilation of all the food and the liquids, completely digest it, and that nourishment is given to Vyana for further distribution. So this is what all these 5 pranas do as a collective function. So then we have the mind and the buddhi and the Karan Sharif, and the rest of the things we'll take it up tomorrow.